Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video we will learn how to create an email confirmation system for our website. There are many websites on the internet which have registration forms, and whenever you register an account on those websites, they ask you to confirm your email, and they send you an email which has a link, and whenever you click on that link they redirect you to their website where you confirm your email. So this is what we will build in this video. Just to get started, I want to let you know that I'm gonna work with a subdomain. So my subdomain is the mail.ruvictor.com, and you will need the database too. I created a database here, as you see already. So let's go ahead and create the first table. We will have just one table for this tutorial, and this table is going to be users table, and we will have here 5 columns. There's going to be the ID, we'll have ID, email, password, token, and then confirmation. Now our ID is gonna be, let's make it 10 length, and then this is gonna be the primary key, so we want to check this out, auto increment checkbox. The email is gonna be 100, and here we want to choose the codification for it, which is gonna be the UTF general CI, and then this one's gonna have the same thing. The token the same way, and then for our confirmation this is gonna be okay. This is gonna be varchar 100. We can make this one 20, and then this one is gonna be just 1 because this is gonna be war 0 war 1. So the length, we may leave it 1 here, but by default this is gonna be as defined, so this is gonna be 0 here. Whenever we will register a user, this column is going to be 0 all the time, which means that they have to confirm their email. Whenever they will confirm their email, this column is going to be updated, and this is going to become 1. So let's go ahead and save it. And here we have our table. As we already see the structure, ID is the primary key, email, password, token, and the confirmation. Now on my server I have 3 files. You may want to create 3 files too wherever you work. I have index.php, config.php, and the verification.php. Now the index.php is gonna have the HTML form. The config.php is gonna handle the connection to the database, and then the verification is the file where we will redirect the user whenever they will click on their verification link, the one we will send an email to them. We will be using here the PHP mailer library, so we can just go ahead and download it. So if we go on Google and search for PHP mailer, they have a repository on GitHub. And then here, by the way, I'm just gonna use Composer. I already have it installed here, but I will delete it. Okay, I'm gonna install it with you now. So if you don't have Composer, you may want to search on Google for Composer, and the website should be getcomposer.org. Just click here, download it, and install it. And then after that, just open your terminal. I'm using the Visual Studio, and I have a terminal here. I'm just gonna start a new terminal, and I will I will install this library on my computer, and then after that I will upload it to my server. So I'm gonna go to C partition. I'll have exam ht docs. It doesn't matter where you install it. I just install it here because this is my main development folder. So here we have Composer, require PHP mailer / PHP mailer, and this is gonna take a while. And while this is downloading, here we will create I will explain this config.php file a little bit, because I left this code here because this is not the first time when I'm trying to record this video. So here we have a PHP. It's actually saying that writing log file generated auto. So I'm just gonna close this for now. So here we have a config.php file, and this is the file that handles the connection to the database. I'm gonna make changes in these files. I already opened them, and these changes are gonna be live. So here we have the try method, and we have a variable which is the connection, CONN, and we assign a new object, the PDO object. This is the PHP, if I can say a native PHP object already. And then and this object has three parameters. The first parameter is the type of the database we are using. So I'm using MySQL, and I put here MySQL. Now the database host is localhost. The database name is particular underscore mail. And then the second parameter is the database user, which is the same as the database name in my case. And then I have the database password. Now here I left, you see a comment, set the PDO error mode to exception. So we set it here, and then if it catches any errors, then we just output connection failed, and here we output what's the problem. Just to make sure that this works, I'm gonna require it in index.php. But yeah, so we have require once, and here we have config.php. I'm gonna save this file. I'll confirm it here, and then I'm gonna open my browser and I will refresh this page, and we don't see any error because everything works fine. But if I'll remove, for example, the first character from my database user and I refresh the page, now it tells me the connection failed, and it tells me also the access denied for user, which means that there is no such user um, assigned to this database. So this is just an example on how this error would look like if you would get one of these. Now if I refresh it again, everything works fine. Now as my PHP mailer library is installed, I want to upload it to my server. So this is the vendor folder, and I'll just upload the vendor folder. And this is gonna take a while. And while this is uploading there, we will create the index.php file now. So here below our PHP code, we want to create another HTML page, and this is going to be an HTML5 page. And here we will have, let's say, page title register user, and I want to use Bootstrap, so that's what I will do. I'm going to search for Bootstrap. The website is getbootstrap.com, and just get started. Click on that button and then copy this library from here and paste it in your head section. This is before you close your head tag. Now in the body section, they also have components here, and I want to use the form component. Let's see, Bootstrap forms, and they have here, there you go. I'm gonna use this form. It's a simple form, but I will use it as a simple example for you to just to make like an example to see how this works. Functionality is more important than how many fields we have. And I'm gonna remove this checkbox from the form. Also, I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit here. We want to add, there's an input email. We want to add a name here because they have no name here, so name is gonna be email, and then we should add another name for our password. Okay, now also here we should add action to our form tag. So action equals is going to be the same page, and then the method is going to be post. And we want to add another container here because this form is going to be full width right now. It's going to be all over the page, so I want to make it so it will be aligned at the center of the page, and give it a 500 pixels width. So here we will have a style tag. I'm just gonna insert a little bit of CSS in our HTML page, and here we will have a class which is gonna be the main container, and we'll have here display table. Margin is gonna be 100 pixels from top, and then on the side is gonna be auto, and then on the bottom 0. We will also have a padding of 10 pixels, a border, solid, and let's say display margin padding border. Yeah, width is gonna be 600 pixels, and then max, actually the max width is gonna be 600 pixel, and the width is gonna be 100 pixels, 100%. So I'm gonna copy this one from here, and let's create div class here, and then I'm gonna close it here. So our form now is in our main container div class. Let's save this file, and then now if we refresh this page, we have our form here. This is the main container. We see we have the border, submit button, and if you want we can change it to register user. So this is our form, it's done. Now let's check, because right now if we submit, click register button, doesn't happen anything because we don't handle the data from our post method from here. So in our, on top of our page where we have our PHP tags, here we want to create a new variable. This is gonna be the output, and this is gonna be an empty variable for now. And then below we will have an if statement, and we will check if there's any data in our post method. And if there's any data in our post method, we will have an if, and we will check our variables from, we will check the data from our fields for email and then for password. So we have an if is set, and we have here post email. And by the way, this needs to be like this. Okay, so if there's any value in our email variable, then we have another PHP variable email, and we assign the data from our post method. And then we have another if here. We double check now if the email is empty, which means sometimes this function is set may detect some data in our post method, and then assigning this data to email, and this data may be an empty string. This may be an empty string, and that's why we double check here. If it's empty, if it has an empty string, then we want to unset the, actually this should be email here. We want to unset the email variable. Okay, this is for sure that it's a good way on checking the variables from the post method. And then below we want to do the same thing for our password. So we check here the password. Okay, and then here we will have another if statement, and this if statement is gonna check both of them at the same time, which means if there is a user and the password entered in the form, then we want to insert the user in the database. So we will have if is different than empty. Let's say first one is gonna be the email, and oops, and if it's different than empty password. So different than empty means if there is any data in our email or in our password, because if we unset it means it's null. This variable doesn't have anything in case it has an empty string here. So if we have an email and the password inserted, then here we can go ahead and generate a password. So we have password. Now we reassign a new value to our password. So here there's PHP native function which generates a password hash, and we use the password here, and that's the first parameter. This one gets two parameters. The first parameter is the password, and the second parameter is the password default, like this. So what we've got our password from the post method, and we reassigned it. We generated a password hash, and we reassigned this new value, our hashed password, to our password, which is an encoded password. You'll see in the database there is gonna be a long string, and then below here we will have a token too. If you remember, in the database we have this token, so we should generate this token, because whenever the user is gonna register an account here, they will get a random token, and this token will be inserted here. We will need this token to check. We will send this token to user by email, so that's how we will check if the user wants to confirm his email or not, because this is going to be like an identification token or something like that. So here we will have a small function. We will call it, let's say, get token, and we will have a variable. It's going to be the length, and we can make it 32 by default. We will actually not use it, but just to leave it, just in case. And then we will have a return substr. We use this substr function, then we use md5 function. These functions are PHP native functions. And then here we have an OpenSSL random pseudo bytes. We will use also this function, so OpenSSL random pseudo bytes, and here we will insert 20, first parameter of the substr, and then we have minus length. So in this way we can get a hash, we can get a token for our user. And then below here we will have a new variable which is going to be the token, and we will assign this function. And then as a parameter we can choose here, for example, let's leave it 10, and this function is going to generate a random string of 10 characters. If we don't put anything here, we don't choose a parameter for this function, then by default this is gonna return a 30 a string which is gonna be 32 characters length. So I'll leave it 10 for now. 10 is enough. Now we go ahead and insert our user. So we have insert variable using our connection to the database. We want to prepare the statement. So we have insert, I misspell it here, prepare. We have insert into users set, and now here we have email. We want to insert an email, and this is how PDO works. I hope you already know that this is like we predefine these functions. We'll have this function. We will assign values to these functions in our execute method. So using execute function. So here we have email, and then we have password, and then we have token, and that's it. We get 3 values here. Now using our insert variable we can execute this query. So we have an array, execute array. Okay, now here we want to assign to these predefined variables a value. So we have email, it's gonna be the email, and then here we will have password, and we assign the password, and then here we have the token. Okay, I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. All right, looks good. So let's just output echo success. Let's save it. I'm gonna confirm it here, and my PHP mailer is being uploaded on my server, which is very good. Now here, if I refresh, actually no. Okay, if I refresh it now, looks everything is good. Let me check the database. So we don't have any user in the database now. Let's try to insert a user. So I'm just gonna add a random email here and a random password. Click register user. It didn't output anything, which is strange. It means it didn't work. Okay, post. Form action. It was action there before. So it looks like, okay, so the problem is here because if email it's equal needs to be equal, we just assign it here. That's why it didn't work. All right, let's save it now. I'm gonna refresh it, and I get this error called in the find function. Okay, I misspelled MD5. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let's see, where's MD5? Refresh it one more time, and it tells me here output success. Now if we check our database, we have our user here. So this is the password, this is the hash, password hash function. Where is it? This one. This is the hash we got from our password. So this is encoded here. We've got the token, and then confirmation is 0. Okay, so now we should use our library, our PHP mailer. We should send an email with this token from here to our user. So the user will click on that link, and they will confirm their email. Now to do that, we should go on here where PHP mailer repository. We will use these two lines. So let's copy them, and I will paste them right below require ones line. And then here below we insert our user. We will have, let's require the vendor. We'll have vendor slash auto load.php file. We have same thing in our example here. So we have vendor slash auto load.php. Okay, we won't be using any SMTP here, so we will have, let's say, PHP mail, and we will assign to this PHP mail. Well, actually can use just mail because email is being used here. So we have mail, and we assign to mail a new object, which is the PHP mailer. Okay, and then below here we will have we will use the try method. So we will try to send an email now, and here we have our mail object, and we set from where this email is gonna be sent, or from which user. So from what email, I'm sorry. So we have set from, and here we have an email. So I'm gonna just put here my email, and then here we have the name, the second parameter, and I will put here user, I'll say user registration. And then below here we will have to choose an email to where we want to send this confirmation link. So we will have add address, and here is going to be the email. I actually have an email now here, so I'm gonna copy it. I'll paste it here, and then below we will have the content, and we will send a link, which means we will want to use HTML tags, and we should turn on the HTML type of messages. So we just use the is HTML function, and then parameter is going to be true. Now below we have the subject, and then the subject is going to be new user, or let's say confirm email. And then we have the body now, and the body is going to be, there's going to be a link, so we'll say activate your email. And here we will have, let's see, actually we will have a link like this. So here is going to be http mail ruvictor.com/verification.php, and now we will send two variables in our get method, and that's going to be the email, and here we will send the user email, and we will have another one which is going to be the token. Okay, so we got email. All right, looks good. And now we will use send method to send this email. Let's see, it's gonna be send, and then below here we will just output echo message sent, or if it catches any error, then we want to output that error. So we will have echo, let's say message couldn't be sent, and here we will have the error. It's gonna be mail error info. Okay, looks good for now. Let's see if it works. So I'm just gonna save it. Save it. I will confirm it here. And then now if I'm going back to my form, I'll just search, refresh it one more time. I'm insert everything, fresh data here, click register user, and then of course we get an error which says the vendor failed to open stream. I probably misspelled something else there. Let me see. Okay, get here. Let's copy this. Anyways, let's see if this is the problem. I'm just gonna save it and I'm gonna refresh it one more time, and there is a problem. Cache error class PHP mailer not found. Okay, index HTML 43. Hopefully I didn't misspell anything again. Yeah, I put P and P, of course. Okay, now it should work. So if I refresh it one more time, alright, it tells me that message sent. Now if we check the database, we have, of course, this is the last user, because we've been trying, because it inserts the user, but then the mail wasn't working. That's why we have so many users now here. So now we should have an email. Let's see if we've got any emails from here. And we have a spam, and there's the user registration. Here is our email, and for some reason we don't see the link, because probably I forgot to insert the okay, I didn't put anything here. Activate email, or no, confirm email. I'm gonna save it. I'm going to delete all these users from here, so we will have everything clean. And now we'll refresh one more time this page. Alright, it says the message sent. I'll delete this, the old one. So we've got a new one right now, and this one has the confirm email. And if I inspect it, I can see that there's the verification.php. Now it's my subdomain, verification.php. We have email, and this is the email from the form, and then there's the token, which ends with 2022F. So we check here, it's 22F. This is the token. Okay, it tells me be careful with this message, just because we are not using SMTP. So now if I click on it, proceed, we are redirected to verification.php file. Now we don't see anything here because we didn't create this file yet. So let's go ahead, and we still should fix some stuff here. We have our output function, so output variable. We should use this variable now here. So instead of echo, we should put the output variable, and we should assign this message sent, or let's see, or if it gets any errors, then we will assign the error to our output, and then after that we will just, we will output this notification here. Alright, let's save it. This is just a notification stuff, it doesn't really but let's see, let's try it one more time. I'll delete this user from here, so I'll go back and I'll refresh this one more time, and of course on the 57 forgot to 57 here. I'm just gonna put the error. This is gonna show the error because I made it as like two parameters, but it doesn't work that way. You can't assign something like that to a variable. So if I refresh it, now it tells the notification. We get notification above our form which says message sent, and it is the new message is already in our spam folder here. It's already said it goes in spam because we're not using an SMTP server. If you don't know how to use an SMTP server, I will put a link below this video where you can watch it and learn how to use SMTP with this PHP mailer if you want to use SMTP. So here we click on this link, and we're redirected to verification.php file. And now let's go ahead and create this verification.php file. So we want to require the configuration connection to the database. So we have require once, and there is the config.php, and then here below we want to check, we want to use the same way as we did here, but now we will check the get method. And if there's oops, so there's if if there is any data in our get method, then we want to use this logic from here for our email and for our token. Okay, and then below we will have if it's different than empty email, and if it's different than empty, what we have got there, token, and this is actually a variable. Alright, so if there is any data, if there is anything assigned to our email, or if there is anything assigned to our token, that means we have some data in our get method. We've got some data. So here we want to update the user which has this email. We will update the token of the user which has this email. So here we will have a variable which is going to be select, and let's see, we want to select the token. We will see if there's any user. Okay, so let's select the user. So we have the prepare statement here, and then we have select. We will select the ID from users, where the email it's equal to the email to the email from our get method. So we basically here are checking if there's any user in our database which has this email from our get method, and token equal to the token from our get method. And again, these variables, we're just predefining them here, but we will assign value to each of them in our execute method. So we have select, and now we execute our query. And of course we have an array here. Alright, so select ID from users where email equal to email and token token. Email and token token. Okay, and then here below we check, we have an if statement. If select fetch column greater than 0, that means there is a user. We select if there is any entry in our select in our select variable after we ran this select query. That means we found a user. So if we have a user, we want to update that user now. We get an update variable, and using the connection to the database, we want to prepare this query. So we have here update users set. What was there? Set let's see, confirmation is 0 now. We should update it to be 1. Confirmation equal 1. We will also have token. So the token is gonna be empty. We will empty it, and then where email equal to email. And now using this update variable, we will execute this query. So we'll have an array, and we have here is just the email. Okay, let's check one more time. Select fetch column greater than 0. We update using connection, prepare, execute. Okay, update user set confirmation. This is the confirmation here, and then we just remove the token from the database where email is equal to email, and then email is here. Alright, and then just after that we will output echo email has been confirmed. I'm not sure if this, okay, let's see. So select ID, we check if there's anything. Okay, so we've got the user which has this email token in the database. Okay, so everything looks fine now. We just output here success. Okay, I'm gonna save it, and if I refresh it now, of course there's an error on the 28th line. 28. Okay, this is, yeah, it's kind of late. It's kind of late, guys. We don't get anything on the screen, which means there is a problem in our selection here. Okay, let's see if it goes here. No, it doesn't, which means email and token. I misspelled something here. This one should be get, that's why I forgot to change it. Okay, so we remove this stuff from here. We got the success here. Okay, refresh one more time, we get success. Now if we check our database, this token should be gone now, and then confirmation should be 1 here, and that's what we've got here, which means the user confirmed his email. So this is a very simple example, guys, but this is the logic behind this email confirmation system from those websites. I will leave a link to this source code so you can get it from my GitHub repository. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you like the video, subscribe for this channel, and I will see you in the next tutorial.